Hello everyone, Inked Archer here. Today we're going to be taking a look at the round arrow by Calimacil, aka the fun, safe arrow you could shoot your friends in the face with and they'll be okay. Okay, so for me to do a proper review, I'm going to have to post some detailed pictures of this, and then what I'm going to do is just kind of talk over my pictures so that way you guys can see what I'm talking about rather than just, looking at me run my mouth and whatnot. So let's move to those pictures, and let me tell you a little bit of history and facts about the Calimacil round arrow. Now these arrows are actually made by IDV Engineering based out of Germany. The arrows were designed or intended for use by LARP groups, battle game groups that focus more on martial combat rather than the role-playing aspect, or any type of medieval reenactment. Calimacil is probably the world's largest distributor of these arrows, so I'll be referring to them as a Calimacil product for the remainder of this review. Let's go ahead and discuss the arrow in sections, starting with the head. The head is made of high-performance energy-absorbent foam, feels similar to memory foam, very soft to the touch, and comes back to its original form when compressed. The inlay is made of unbreakable, highly impact-resistant plastics. It enfolds the shaft safely while the impact force is distributed equally and safely into the whole arrow. I believe they used an epoxy of some sort to attach the head onto the shaft and keep it from coming loose or even falling off. There's no wiggle room. This thing is on there good and tight. The diameter of the head is approximately 55 millimeters or 2.2 inches roughly. Now I know the biggest concern is safety, so I want to assure you that IDV has performed countless hours of testing to ensure their products are safe. Okay, so I just wanted to assure you guys that these arrows are in fact safe. Now I've personally been using these for about 5 years in our battle games group, and we have had zero injury in those past 5 years. So I think that has to speak volumes about these arrows as far as the quality and of course the safety of these. So I definitely recommend them for battle games, for LARP, for even like if you're doing types of archery tag, which these arrows are definitely not the same as the archery tag arrows. That could be in a different review, but definitely still use for that type of game. So just wanted to say that I do give these my seal of approval, and they are in fact extremely safe. So I'll go over the only time that they're not safe later on in the review, but for now we're going to go ahead and get back to the other parts of the arrow, okay? Thanks. Moving on to the arrow shaft. According to IDV's website, they use an epoxy resin-like fiberglass. This gives the shaft the ability to bend under combat situations and not break. The shaft measures at approximately 30 inches, putting the total arrow length at 32 inches. The shaft diameter measures at 1764. Let's talk about the flights or fletchings. As you can see, these are made entirely of rubber. They can be stepped on, grabbed, bent, and are virtually indestructible. Calimacil sells only one color, orange, but sometimes whenever you order them, they'll come in with black fletchings. Not sure why that is, but for the most part, they usually come in as the orange flights or fletchings. They have no markings on the index feather when you buy them, so I just put some on myself, which I highly recommend doing so. The nocks are just a standard plastic glue-on knock, but are flat instead of rounded or pointy at the end for safety reasons. These are also the only part of the arrow that can be purchased as a replacement piece on Calimacil's website. So here we are today at the park. We're going to be doing some shooting of the Calimacil IDV round arrows. Now excuse the background noise, there's a street right behind me, and I mean this is a public park, so I had to kind of pick and choose. So I'll take a little bit of noise for free range to shoot these things. Today we're going to be filming a little bit of just how well these fly, shooting other people, as well as just kind of seeing how far these things shoot, and I just want you guys to really see the performance of these arrows. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Going to be a little bit of cutting in between different things, so I'll probably be posting some other facts across the bottom as I'm talking or as I'm shooting, okay? So stay tuned for some more good stuff, alright? Let's get into this. 10-yard shots, IDV round head arrows. How'd that feel, Braden?
Good.
You're alive? Okay, shot number 2. Okay, how'd that feel?
Good.
Okay, turn around, let's do the back. Okay.
Oh.
Having fun, Jack?
Alright, one more. Oh, same arm.
Okay, so what I want to do real quick is show you guys an example about how far these arrows can travel. It says that with a 30-pound bow, they can travel up to 50 meters. I believe they can go further, but it just all depends on your trajectory. But usually you're not really shooting that far. So what I'm going to be doing here is it's a tree right down there. That's about 50 yards away, so I'm going to be shooting towards that just to kind of show you the arrow flight. And I'm using a 25-pound bare fiberglass bow, so let's just go ahead and take a few shots. Right at the base. Let's see if we can go further. As you could see, or hopefully you could see, basically the arrows were all landing right at the base of the tree, so pretty much 50 yards is like, for a 25-pound bow, is a perfectly good max range, I think. Okay, so a couple quick things that I want to touch on. Now these arrows should never, and I repeat never, be used with anything more than a 30-pound bow at 28 inches. They are not designed to be shot with heavier pound bows, and if you have a longer draw, then you should be shortening that for safety reasons. Also too, these should never be shot at animals, or I mean outside of a battle game's combat scenario. You shouldn't be shooting people with them, because when you're shot and you're not anticipating it, it's not the greatest thing. It won't kill you, but it can hurt. So those things I wanted to kind of bring up real quick just in case I forgot. So again, I recommend using a bow around 25 pounds. 30 pounds seems to kind of make the flight a little wobbly because it's a little powerful and these are front heavy. So I recommend like a 25-pound bow, and again, no more than a 30-pound bow at 28-inch draw. Okay, got it? Good. Okay, so lastly, what we're going to talk about are the negative things. Now, I don't have too many, because mostly I only have as good things to say about these arrows. So, a couple things. Now, first thing I want to talk about is with the fletching, or as they call it, the flights. Now, being that it's rubber, it's obviously, you know, it can be stepped on and it's supposedly indestructible. Now, the one thing that I've noticed that does do some damage to this is if you look at, you see that lip right there in the rubber? That's actually from hitting the shelf of the bow. Now, I have to tell you, I have calf hair on my bow, so it's supposed to be a smooth transition from whenever I'm doing my release. It should just glide, but unfortunately, it keeps pulling here at the rubber, and it's causing it to tear and to lift. Now, what that's doing is it's giving my arrow bad flight, so it ends up kind of giving it a more wobbly paradox whenever it's coming off. And you know, you already have the heaviness of the head, so you're getting really poor arrow flight, the worse that this gets. Now, it's a simple fix, an easy fix, but it might be expensive for those of you that don't have the right equipment, or could be difficult if you don't have the right experience. Now, for us traditional archers that are used to fletching our own arrows, simple fix. You just do exactly that. Go ahead and refletch it with some real feathers, and you've got a quicker, faster, more efficient, and accurate IDV round arrow. So, and also too, you can personalize them, and I throw some arrow reps so they're easier to find in the grass field where we play. So anyway, that is probably the biggest drawback. Secondly, because they are fiberglass shafts, the bend is good. If someone steps on it, it comes back to shape, but when they do break, they splinter. Now, sometimes if you didn't see that it's cracked and you go to shoot it, that could be devastational, because if you shoot a cracked fiberglass shaft, it could splinter and go into your wrist. It could just be really bad. So it's very, very important that here's actually a splintered shaft. Then now this one is obviously, like, you could totally tell that it's broken. You could see the fibers starting to come and the strands starting to pull out. But anyway, sometimes you can't really see those little micro cracks, and if you have those, you should not duct tape it. Don't use it. That arrow shaft is gone. I have a review coming out soon that's going to teach you how to replace the IDV, take off the head and put it onto a new shaft, because I've noticed that some people are throwing these away whenever their shaft breaks. But you know what? This arrowhead is where all the money is, and this is the most important piece, so please do not throw it away. Stay tuned, or message me personally if you need to take these off and put it on a new shaft. So anyway, my second, number 2 negative about these is the nocks. Now, as I said before, the nocks were designed to be flat, so that way if it bounces back and hits you, it's not a sharp point. Well, that's fine, but the durability of these nocks is horrible. I break almost maybe one every few weeks. They always crack on the top portion of it, or the bottom, but either which way the nocks break, and they are not durable at all. It's another quick fix. Let's see if I have one. Well, all you have to do is just put a glue-on knock. It might be pointed, but I gotta tell you, I've had no injuries due to bounce back or deflection or anything like that, so really I do not think it matters. And if you need to, you could always file it down, but I recommend just putting a good Easton glue-on knock on the back and call it a day. So pretty much those are really the only 2 negatives that I have. So again, these arrows here have my full approval, and I recommend going to Calimacil.com and checking out the IDV round head arrow, and go have some fun, and make sure to shoot someone in fair game and play. Alright, this is Inked Archer. See you guys next time. Thank you.